Ah, skeet skeet.
Ah, skeet, 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 skeet. Ah, skeet, 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 skeet. I love the original of that. I love Little John. Little John's fucking great. Good beats. Fucking hilarious dude. But goddamn, that Mark Zuckerberg cover that just fucking came out is atrocious.
I don't know how many people have heard it yet, but
I would assume a lot. I didn't look at the. I just clicked on it on YouTube real quick and gave it half the song. I didn't see how many views it had. I'm sure it's got a lot because it's fucking T Pain with him, who's a
mm.
big dude.
Oddly
Holy
enough,
shit!
that song was in like the video game Need for Speed, and that is how I heard it when I was young.
What is that game?
It's a, it's like you, it's like a street racing. So like you get cars and
Oh,
shoot
okay.
them up. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that was the one that was on there. It was a long time
To
ago.
the windows, to the walls.
You clean off the back
The
windshield.
sweat drips down my balls. And it makes like he sounds like a robot singing it.
And he looks like
Yeah,
one too.
there's well, yeah, he looks like a fucking android, but like there's tons of auto tune on his voice. You could hear it. It's like disgustingly evident
Well,
that there's
okay.
auto
Yeah.
tune.
Doesn't T-Pain do that?
Yeah, yeah, that's a big thing for him too, is having tons of fucking auto tune on his voice. I lost all respect for him after hearing that fucking bullshit.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it paid well.
I'm sure it did. It's the guy that owns fucking Instagram and fucking Facebook.
Yeah.
But it's just he sounds like a fucking android. Like I am convinced that he is not a real person. I think he's a fucking living tissue of a metal endoskeleton, except not as cool.
Yeah.
There's a kid down the street from me.
Uh-oh.
There's a kid down the street from me that works at the grocery store. Who looks and acts just like Mark Zuckerberg. And I always I'm nice to the kid when we're on his line and stuff. I don't fuck with him or bully him, but whenever we leave, I'm I'm always ribbing Christine about how much he's like a fucking android. And then like I just pictured him like trying to get laid one day. And I'm just picturing him like laying there getting a hard on. He's like, erection achieved.
Oh boy.
uh, ready for reciprocation of oral treats. Ejaculation imminent. Unloading of semen and spermatozoa. Unloading of semen and spermatozoa.
Powering down.
Oh fuck. Oh. Oh.
Oh, boy.
Oh fuck that kid and fuck Mark Zuckerberg.
Figured you'd
Everybody should listen to that just to hear how terrible it is.
it's like country and I don't know, it's weird.
It's like country, but then he's almost got like a pop punk or like a emo rock voice over it. He's got that whiny yeah thing going on.
Yeah.
So it's like a mix of everything terrible.
Yeah. Look.
It's like if you mixed dog shit with human shit and cat shit.
You get Mark
It's just
Zuckerberg.
you get the Mark Zuckerberg song. Oh, little John is fucking rolling in his grave and he ain't even dead yet.
But it's funny to hear.
It's definitely very funny to hear him try to be a fucking human being somewhat.
I mean, if he did it for I don't know if he's married or if it's his girl. If he did it for her, I don't know. Why not just give it to her without releasing it to the world?
Yeah, why embarrass yourself like that? Just hand it over to her and fucking embarrass her.
I guess he's just trying to be a human.
Yeah, she's trying to prove me wrong that he's not an android.
You and a lot of people probably.
Right. I know Joe Rogan's pretty fucking convinced that he's an android too. There's a Joe Rogan clip where he's talking about him and is like there's a thing where like he takes a sip of water, but like the water doesn't move at all. So Joe's just like talking about that. He's like, there's no way he didn't even drink because it would fucking damage the fucking computer chips on the inside of him. What's that?
Fuck yeah. Oh man.
Oh, that was great.
Well, so I guess it was worth checking out.
It was definitely worth checking out. I got some fucking laughs out of that. It was great. Welcome. Speaking of laughs, I don't think we have ever done a show where we talked about our favorite comedians. I could be wrong.
No, I
I
don't.
haven't
We've probably
scrolled
brought
back
you.
into the past, but
We've probably brought up occasional quick things, but I don't think we've ever really talked about them.
so if you had to pick a top five,
Living, not it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter, living or dead, who would be number five for you?
Oh man. See, there's a couple. There's like a couple of people. Pro See, when I was young, I would like the top ones that I would listen to were like Andrew Dice Clay and Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't listen to them anymore because they haven't really had
Right.
anything new, I guess. So probably probably Andrew Dice Clay. Those nursery
Andrew Dice Clay number
those
five.
nursery rhymes were really popular when I was young.
Same,
Yeah.
same.
There's a
He
lot
was
of
fucking
comedians that I probably wouldn't that if it was the top 10, I'd probably have him in there. But
right.
yeah. Well, who would you
All
put?
right, so you go with Andrew at five. I'm gonna go at number five with a very unpopular pick because of what he's done and what he's.
Cosby?
Yes,
I thought you were gonna say Louis
yes.
C.K. Maybe there could have been another one. Yeah,
Of who? Of who?
I thought you were. It could have been Louis C.K. also.
Yeah, it hurt not to put Louis in my top five because I do love him. But I mean, the whole situation with him seems like it kind of worked itself out.
And
Yeah, I,
also, he got lumped in with like Weinstein, but I don't think he. It was more of a he got consent, but he shouldn't have tried because they were people working under him.
right,
So it's
right,
like, well, yeah, they could have said no also, and it seemed like he probably would have went all right and left.
right.
But it was in that whole beginning of it when you're evil no matter
The
what.
beginning of Me Too and the Weinstein thing happening. Yeah, yeah, he sort of caught the wrath for that, even
Yeah,
though what he was doing was pretty fucking weird.
it definitely weird,
Pretty
but it
weird.
shouldn't have been lumped in with Cosby and Weinstein.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but, yeah.
So yeah, Cosby's gonna be my five.
You know, I had tickets to see Cosby, and it
Right
was
when that shit started,
right
right?
when it happened, and all the shows got canceled.
Yeah, that's a fucking shame.
Yeah, nice to see him.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, it would have
like,
been cool to fucking tick that off the fucking off the list.
yeah,
I mean, when I was a kid and the Bill Cosby himself stand up came out, that was such a big thing for me. Like that really opened up stand up comedy for me. Like I didn't really watch it before that, or if I did, I wasn't really paying attention to it. And just his whole like impressions he would do of his family and fucking impressions of people being high and shit. And I didn't even know what being high was at that point because I must have been fucking 6 or 7 years old. But that was such a good, funny stand up special. I used to watch it with my mother every time it came on TV. I was glued to even if I turned it on and there was only 10 minutes left, I watched that last 10 minutes. And I used to work on the impressions of it and mimic it back then when I was a kid just to get my mother to laugh because there was something about making my mother laugh that made me feel good.
Mm.
And then I noticed if I did it when her friends came over for coffee and fucking scones or whatever, you know, if I did it for them in front of them, they would laugh and it made me feel good. Like that was cool to do that. So Cosby stays in my top five. I know he's a piece of shit.
You know what
I know
though?
he's a terrible human being, but he was really fucking funny.
People still listen to Michael Jackson and R. Kelly,
That's right.
and
That's right. People still listen to R. Kelly a lot.
they're shit people too. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bill, I watched that Bill Cosby special when I was a kid. Also, that one and Eddie Murphy would come on a lot back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Raw was a big one at that same time.
yeah, 80s. Yeah,
That's a fucking great stand up special, too, man. Holy shit. Who you got for number four?
man, this is tough. Let's see here. I would, like there's people that like Robert Kelly. I would definitely have him on the list, but I don't know if he might have been six. Like uh,
Yeah.
Jim Florentine, Rich Voss, same thing, kind of. They're close.
Yeah. It's hard not, I was hard for me not to
Yeah.
put Voss in my top five. I've seen him a couple times. He's
He's so
great.
mean and it's funny.
Yeah.
But I think I would go with like maybe Dave Attell.
Okay. David Tell's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, he's good.
He's so quick.
Yeah, and weird.
Right. Yeah. His timing's weird. And he spawned a lot of babies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of dudes came out with that same timing. Ba ba ba, ba 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 ba,
Yeah.
ba ba ba. You
It,
know, like that whole inflection of his, like a lot of dudes started doing that shit after he got really big in the fucking early 2000s.
and the weird thing with him too, well, like I watched him on the that show he had Insomniac, but
Yeah,
also
that was great.
if you hear him in like interviews or on podcasts and stuff, that's the way he talks. He's got that weird,
Yeah, that's just him.
yeah. So yeah, yeah, definitely, I would put him number four. Yeah. What do you?
And that's the great thing about him is he's just naturally funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of comedians that on podcasts and stuff are great and they're hilarious. And then I checked out like their specials. I should probably do more than one because sometimes you have a, special. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Like, I like him in the moment, but
Yep.
this special
I
one,
feel that way about Joe List. I think Joe List is really funny
me too.
when he's sitting with other funny people. And then his specials, I'm like, eh.
But I don't know. I only watched one. Maybe I
I
watched the wrong
watched
one.
one from him, but I also saw him live at a Patrice benefit, and I just thought he was meh.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
saw David Tell at a fucking Patrice benefit, and he killed.
but that was a thing too. Like if you watch him on Joe List on the special on like podcasts and stuff, he's hilarious.
Oh yeah, on you know what, dude, and
Yeah,
fucking.
the rags.
Sometimes they have him on. We might be drunk with Mark Normand and fucking Sam Morril.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he
he's funny as shit.
goes on the bonfire or Jim and Sam. Like, yeah,
Right.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny as shit. But then his stand up is kind of meh.
Maybe it just don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just a different thing that I just don't. I mean,
Yeah, it
obviously,
just doesn't click with you.
yeah, he's obviously successful. So, but yeah, who would you put
Some people
before?
are more situationally funny than they are stand up funny.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that's why Anthony Cumia never did stand up.
he did a couple times more recently. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know how it went. I haven't seen any of it, but
it probably didn't go very well if he's not still doing it.
I think it was when he was doing the tours with the comedians. He would do a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
See, that's a dude that's situationally hilarious.
he was. I don't know about anymore. I think he needs
I don't
somebody to
listen to his new
a
shows
lot of ranting about politics and stuff now, and I'm like,
and race. Yeah,
it just I want it to be funny. Like I don't, if you want to talk
right.
about politics, that's fine, but at least make a joke. Trash
Yeah,
somebody. Like I don't like if you love Trump or you love the other side, they do stupid shit. Everybody does.
right.
They're a person. Make it funny. Don't just go. Just there's like most people are so hard on like hard on their thing that they can't laugh
Yeah,
at the person like he didn't just say something stupid. you know, like
right.
you know, both sides do it. I mean,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
there's nothing wrong with pointing out when somebody says something stupid. You know, like,
Right.
it's funny. But so who would you
My
prefer?
number four
Yeah.
is going to be Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I fucking love Gilbert Gottfried, man. The most annoying Jew in comedy. He's another
Oh,
one I
Rick
found
Ross.
early as a kid. Um, he had a stand up where I remember he did an impression of Mickey Mouse tripping on acid and freaking out. And he just kind of held two paper plates above his head and waved them around and just screamed at the top of his lungs. And I thought it was fucking brilliant. And I always followed him whenever there was like, do you remember when we were kids, the A&E channel would have Evening at the Improv?
I don't think I ever watched it. Yeah.
And that they had Evening at the Improv, and then they had Caroline's Comedy Hour.
Yeah, I never saw this.
You didn't watch those?
No, I had no
So my
idea that
mom
they
would
were
watch
on.
those all the time, and I would sit with her and watch those. And Gilbert was on those a lot. I think especially on the Carolines ones. And it would be like him and John Panette would be on there a lot. And
Oh, he was good.
dude, John Panette was fantastic too.
Yes. Yeah.
But goddamn, Gilbert Gottfried was fucking hilarious, man.
I don't I
Hilarious.
don't think I ever watched one of his specials.
Oh, you got to rectify
Yeah,
that.
I should watch it. He was on Howard Stern a lot at one point, and it was so over the top and funny.
Oh yeah.
And I
Oh yeah.
and I think he ended up going on Jim and Sam and maybe Opie and Anthony a lot also.
I think he might
Later,
have
because
done Opie
Howard
and
stopped
Anthony at
having
the
him
end.
on. Yeah, Howard
Yeah,
stopped having him on. So
right.
yeah, I think
And I
because he was a
think
little
Howard might
too.
have stopped having him on because he went on Opie and Anthony.
I think it was he was a little too like Howard kind of toned down, and Gilbert was still a little bit crazy.
Oh, Howard was starting to fucking dial back a little bit.
Yeah,
That makes
he
sense.
mellowed out a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely mellowed.
yeah.
So yeah, Gilbert's my four. Who's your three?
uh, probably Mark Normand.
Okay. Mark Norman's fucking hilarious.
Yes, there was one time in Yorktown up here where it was. promoted. I saw it the day after. He was playing a bar near where I used to live.
Oh fuck.
And like I saw it the day after that, and it's like a tiny bar that I've been in. Like this is a long time ago. He was still
Yeah,
he was doing like probably Jim and Sam, but they started like 8 years ago, so it was probably around then.
yeah.
And he was still kind of like nobody knew him yet, and I was like, oh, like literally an 8 minute drive from my house. If I saw it, I would have went, but I didn't. I had no idea it was
Of
going to be.
course.
It was a. I don't understand how he did it. It was just a bar. It was like a bar and grill. Like I had no
I
idea.
guess there was somebody set up a PA for him and he just came in and did a set.
Yeah, I would have went.
Sure, he crushed it.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody knew he was going to be there. People might have
Yeah,
been regulars. Like
yeah, could have been.
yeah. So
Could have been. It could have been one of those just like workout gigs for him where
yeah,
like,
probably.
just go and see if my material's hitting.
Yeah, I mean, from the city, it's only like maybe an hour if there's traffic. If there's a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, about that, a little less.
Yeah, depending on
I
where.
saw him at a Patrice benefit too. He is fucking funny, man.
Yeah, and he's weird. He's awkward. I like awkward, and I like mean.
Yeah, same,
Yeah,
same. He's fucking great.
yeah.
I think he's got a recent Netflix, right? Or is it YouTube? Maybe it's YouTube.
You you know what? I think it's Netflix. Or
Sounds right.
he had one on YouTube not that long ago also.
Yeah, I think he had one on YouTube around COVID, and his newest one is on
I
Netflix.
think so. I didn't watch the newest one yet, but the last one I watched was
It's
hilarious.
good.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah. I bet. So who's your number three then?
My number three is going to be the dearly departed, much missed Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah, I figured he'd be on the list. Do you think that we're gonna have the same number one?
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not.
All right.
um, because you already said my number one.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, you've already given my number one. Patrice is just. I still go back to fucking Black Dr. Phil and fucking all the episodes he did on Opie and Anthony, and he was just so goddamn good,
He
man.
was. Yeah.
So goddamn good and so real and so like he didn't give a fuck. Like he just said what he said and he never apologized for anything. I think I only heard one time he apologized for shit that he said was to Lisa Lampanelli. I think he like got into a thing with her
Yeah. Yeah.
and it like really hurt her feelings bad and he apologized for it, but that's like the only time he ever was like sincere about saying I'm sorry. That's just how
Well,
real he fucking was.
I think I've heard that apparently, before he died, and I guess before he knew he was gonna die, he started feeling bad about some of the things he did. You know?
Right.
So yeah.
Making amends before he went.
Yeah, but he didn't know he was gonna go. It
Right.
was like just a stroke, I think, and then he never came out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrice was the fucking man, dude. Just so ballsy, didn't give a fuck, talked about racist shit, and it never offended me. Like he could say cracker a million fucking times and I would laugh like I still do.
Yeah, I don't care.
I love going back to the old Opie and Anthony episodes and him and Anthony going on about race, and he's like, "It's just because you a racist cracker, motherfucker. It's the truth, and it's hilarious."
Do you remember
He's a
when
fucking
do
man.
you remember when Patrice and Anthony put on a Nazi helmet and they went outside to hail a cab
Yes,
to see who the cab would stop for first, and it was usually Anthony.
they stopped
Patrice was
almost every time for Anthony and never for Patrice.
Patrice is like, "You're gonna pick up a Nazi?"
That was great. He was fucking amazing.
He was good.
He was fucking. I wish I could have seen him back in the day. So good.
Yeah, I mean, he went like how long ago was that?
That's got to be 15 years at least.
Been a while.
I mean, I've been in Connecticut 9 years now. Patrice probably died 4 to 5 years before that.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's been a long fucking time.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's a good pick. Yeah.
Who's your number two?
So this is hard for me because I feel like I've been listening to him a lot more than anybody else lately. But Big J Okerson
Okay, I respect that.
has his crowd work is always funny,
Yes, it is.
but it seems like he somehow isn't. It's like he's just winging it
Yeah,
for the crowd work, but it seems like it's all planned out somehow. Like he's that smooth with it that you're like,
that's how
he
good
must
he
have picked
is.
this person. Yeah, but like he must have had this thing loaded, but it's like there's no way he would know what they were going to answer with and then come back with something,
Yeah,
like, and then I listen to the bonfire a lot. So,
Bonfire rules.
yeah,
Bonfire fucking rules. Yeah, he's great, man.
he's a
He's
good
another one I
storyteller.
saw at a Patrice benefit and fucking killed for his 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's a good storyteller too. So,
Yes, he is.
yeah, I like that.
Yes, he is. Yeah, Big J rules. Fucking respect for that pick.
Yeah,
My number two
giggity. I don't
is
know why I
Jim Norton.
said giggity.
Well, number two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my two was Jim Norton.
Okay.
I just saw him last year. No, it was early this year. Yeah, it was wintertime this year. Over at the Ridgefield Playhouse. I saw him on the first Patrice benefit I went to. And dude, that time I just saw him earlier this year, I had to run to the bathroom and piss like twice. He had me dying laughing. He's fucking great.
Definitely. He's
He's
fast. Yeah.
real fucking great, man. Like, and he's still great.
Yeah.
Like
And
right now, he's still fucking great.
yeah. And
You know,
mean.
he's not as angry and venomous as he once was, but he's still fucking hilarious. He had me laughing so hard at one joke he made about fucking hammering a cucumber into his anus that like I laughed so hard and loud I echoed throughout the whole fucking theater, and he made me part of the joke. He goes, "That's the laugh of a man who's had one caught and couldn't get it back out." He goes, "What happened, guy?" He goes, "Were you grasping at the waxy end and it was just sinking in further and further?" And then he came back at the end of the set and he was talking about his wife picking out candles.
Oh.
And he goes, I said to her, the last time I cared about a candle, I was fucking shoving one in my ass. And he caught me with that one off guard again. And I laughed loud again. And he goes, up, there's Cucumber Guy. So I became Cucumber Guy that evening. And I
Yeah.
was at that show with Christine's cousin, and now he's got me saved in his phone as Cucumber Guy.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, Jimmy rules, man.
Yeah.
I love, if you go on YouTube, he's got like probably 20 videos that are laugh compilations.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like all random moments from the Opie and Anthony show, and it makes me fucking almost piss my pants. They're so good. Every one of them's killer.
He had Anthony on his podcast recently.
The sword fight thing, yeah, I have to watch that. I haven't
That
seen it
was
yet.
it was good. it
Okay.
was good. Yeah, I watched it.
It's in my list of things to do, but I definitely have to check that out.
Yeah.
I saw the quick clip of the Model T joke and thought that that was very funny.
Yeah. I think, yeah, because his wife was also saying something about how, oh, I get on the couch to watch something, and I just get tired and fall asleep. And Jim's like, "What are you talking about? You get on the couch, you get blown, and then you fall. That's why you fall asleep." And she was like, "Oh yeah, I never thought I'd get blown in a penthouse." Like,
Oh, that's fucking great. Jimmy rules.
well,
So number one.
that this makes it easier for me because Jimmy was my number one.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I almost went number one Norton because I love him so much, but my number one was your number five, and that's Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. I haven't seen anything new
Yeah.
from him. So,
I haven't seen anything new from him in a long time, but just the impact he had on me with comedy,
yeah.
like it was a thing where my sister had his albums and I had to sneak them and
They
like
were
listen,
dirty.
first of all, listen to him when she wasn't home because she wasn't going to let me borrow them. And then I had to sneak them and listen to them real low in my boombox so my mom didn't hear what I was listening to. And oh my God, hearing all that shit as a young kid, not even I mean, the nursery rhymes are fucking fantastic. And he's still the only dude that could fucking get away with doing the same bit over and over again at a live show.
Yeah. I mean, I heard those nursery rhymes so many times that like I haven't heard him say them since I was probably 12 or 13, and I could
Right.
probably still recite most of them. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I heard them so many times, I could probably still do it.
Oh, yeah. The fucking Dice Rules and The Day the Laughter Died, those two albums are just so fucking classic and great. And I love absurdist, exaggerated humor.
Yeah.
So when like he's talking about like, uh, how do you get hunchbacks? Well, were you like fucking dog style? And he didn't pull out. And now all of a sudden you got a fucking hunchback. Like it's so stupid and exaggerated, but hilarious. Like I fucking love that shit.
No,
And
no,
for me, he was the first guy I ever heard that was that absurd and that like out in left field with his fucking what he was saying.
yeah. Yeah, he was yeah, I mean like when I was young, you had like Adam Sandler, the Jerky Boys, and Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
But Sandler was like it wasn't it wasn't a comedy special, it was like skits.
Yeah. And Sandler was very family friendly too. He wasn't really pushing
Those
much of
early
an
ones,
envelope.
the early ones, there's one where he's talking about shoving a shampoo bottle up his ass. And
Really?
yeah, it's called a medium pace. It's like a song.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about like his albums?
Yeah, from we're talking probably early to mid 90s. Yeah.
Like what the hell happened to me, right? That was one of them where he's
There
doing the
was a
skit
couple.
where it's like, is it two people having sex or working out at a gym?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
There was
He
yeah,
was
I'm
a little
talking
more edgy there.
yeah, when he was young. It was this it probably was his like first skit album kind of thing.
Right.
And yeah, it was like a medium pace, like take that shampoo up bottle and shove it up my ass. Pull it in and out at a medium pace. Like, it's all weird.
And he had that piece of shit car song.
Yeah,
I remember that.
there was Toe Booth Willie or something. There was a couple of funny ones.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was edgier on his records than he was. on
Well, he
TV.
became more of like a family friendly comedian movie guy. Yeah,
Big time, yeah.
but he was kind of dirty back then.
Yeah.
This is probably before SNL. You know,
Yeah, his albums were before Saturday Night Live,
it was
definitely. I
after
think
he
like
was on
right
the
before.
he was on the Cosby Show a little bit, and then
He was?
yeah, he was one of like the friends from school, I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I gotta go back and look for those clips.
probably
That's
not
funny.
probably not on a ton of episodes, but I believe he's in the house a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah,
I gotta go back and look for clips of that. I bet he's super young there.
he probably would have been no older than 20. Yeah,
I remember him from Remote Control
with Colin Quinn
with Colin Quinn.
was another good one.
Yeah, it that was another. I'm thinking of guys all day yesterday. I'm like, fuck, Colin doesn't make my top five, but I love him.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones that yeah.
A Big J was another one that I'm like, fuck, I love him. I love Shane Gillis. And
Yeah,
he doesn't quite make my top five, man. I might have put him as six.
Dan
Might
Soder.
have put him as six.
Dan Soder was good too.
Dan Soder's fantastic as well. He's another one that I saw at Patrice Benefit as fucking killed.
Yeah,
Rich Boss,
yeah.
fucking, that's another one. I wanted to put him in because he's so just mean.
Yeah. Well, so why don't you tell us who your favorite comedians are down below us?
Blow us right there.
Top five, whatever you want to do. Just
Top five. How about top five and five honorable mentions?
yeah,
You can even do that. So it's
whatever.
basically a top five.
Or just put a couple names in there. Pick somebody.
There you go.
Leave a comment. Don't be a dick.
Subscribe.
Yeah,
Get
like,
your friends to subscribe. Fucking repost on social media, all that shit.
spread the joy around
Please
all over.
spread it all over. Like baby
Bye.
oil on J-Lo's ass.
Till next time. Two metalheads.
Bye, kids.